Welcome back. New home sales in the United States absolutely surged in August, well above expectations as well, rising to the highest level since early of 2022. So in today's video, we're going to talk about new home sales, inventory numbers, and of course, mortgage rates as well. I have a lot to share in today's video. Let's go ahead and dive right in. This was actually just announced today, which is on September 24th. It's been a while since I've made a video regarding new home sales, but I thought this is really timely because this is some very big changes compared to the past several years. So this looks at new single family houses for sale and that have sold according to the US Census Bureau for the month of August. And by the way, since it's been several months since I made this video for you guys, a new home sale is defined by a deposit taken from the home builder or a sales agreement signed between the buyer and the home builder. And therefore, it can occur prior to a permit being issued. In other words, these new home sales are not closed home sales, and it could be a contract being signed when just a dirt lot, a home under construction, or a completed home. So these are not closed home sales. So this really is more acting like a pending home sale and not a actual finalized sale. So for the month of August, there was 800,000 new home sales. That, by the way, is seasonally adjusted and also it's annualized as well. So more or less looking at the total number of home sales in August, multiply that by 12, it's analyzed, and of course doing a seasonal adjustment as well. That was way above the forecast. They were calling for only 650,000 sales, and we had 800,000, also way above last month's reading as well. To better show this, here's a chart from our good Uncle Fred. And the source here again is a US Census Bureau, a huge increase in sales compared to July, the highest levels in quite some time. And also the 5-year chart, look at sales have been flat for about 2 years prior to this, and now they absolutely shot up greatly. So 800,000 sales is the highest level going all the way back until January of 2022. Now, you may be asking yourself, why did new home sales increase? In my personal opinion, it's due to the fact that builders are offering all these incentives to buyers right now. I have toured so many new home construction sites in the Sacramento area, the greater Sacramento area. And by the way, if you guys are interested in Sacramento content, new builds there, check out my other channel, which is Sacramento Home Goals. But because I've been touring so many new home construction sites, the vast majority, I would say probably 99% of them, are offering a much lower mortgage rate than you could get compared to buying an older house, a closing cost credit, free solar, the list goes on and on. Because of all these incentives being offered by home builders for especially completed lots or completed houses, that is helping drive home sales. On top of that, mortgage rates have been decreasing as well. This is according to the Freddie Mac, by the way. So remember, we're talking about August sales, which was when the contract was signed, so a pending home sale. So what happened in August, the average rate for a 30-year fix, according to Freddie Mac, was just less than 6.6%. That was the lowest levels going back to October of 2024. So in my opinion, due to the fact we have all these incentives and mortgage rates also decrease, that helped drive home sales overall for the nation. What's also really interesting as well regarding new home sales is 800,000 is also the highest level since early 2022, but it is also way higher compared to pre-COVID levels. So for example, back in August of 2019, only 712. In August of 2018, 593,000. In addition, if I zoom back all the way until August of 2000, this is the highest levels going all the way back until May of 2007 when looking at pre-pandemic levels. All right, getting back to the report here, every market's different, right? I always say that real estate is local. So they break down the US as the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West. So the vast majority of all home sales occur in the South. There was 530,000 compared to 800,000 for the US as a whole. Really, the Northeast and the Midwest are pale in comparison compared to the South and the West. So we saw huge increases year over year in the Northeast and also big gains in the Midwest and the South. In contrast, in the West, sales decreased by 5.7%. And by the way, looking at the West, here are the states they look at: Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, basically all the states west of Colorado, Montana, and New Mexico, including those states as well. So going back here, even though the West fell by nearly 6% year over year, it still increased by 5.6% compared to July of 2025. Obviously, this is a huge area and real estate is local, right? So of course, I'm an agent here in Sacramento. In the greater Sacramento area, I went over this in my other video on my other channel, Sacramento Home Goals. In August, we had 496 new home sales in our region, which is much higher compared to the average for the month at 401, looking at August 2006 through August of 2019. All right, let's change gears slightly here and talk about inventory numbers. Then we'll talk about prices as well. So there was 490,000 single family houses for sale in the nation as of the end of August. That was a decrease compared to last month, but up by 4%. However, at 490,000, that marks the third consecutive month in which inventory levels actually decreased. And that is this right here. Inventory levels have been decreasing ever since June this year. Now, if we zoom out though, over the past 10 years, it kind of paints a little bit different story though. So 490,000 is way higher compared to pre-COVID levels. Back in August of 19, there was only 326,000 new houses for sale. So big picture, we are very high compared to historical levels, but the decrease over the past several months would of course will put upward pressure on home prices overall. That is, of course, if inventory continues to decrease, but of course it could reverse as well. So I'll keep you posted with any developments on that. Now, looking at the month supply, it actually has been decreasing as well. We have a 7.4 month supply right now, much lower, or about 18% lower compared to July this year when we had a 9-month supply. And also we're down by about 10% year over year. Last year, we're at 8.2 month supply. Let's have a look at our good Uncle Fred, looking at the month supply at 7.4 months, a sharp decline from the past several months, and obviously way lower compared to the peak over the past 10 years. That was at 10.6 months in July of 2022. Back in August of 2019, we had a 5.5 month supply. In more normal range is 5 to 6 month supply and not 7.4 months. So even though the month supply has been decreasing for the past several months, we're still at elevated levels, historically speaking. And of course, because inventory levels is higher compared to pre-COVID levels, that of course is putting downward pressure on prices. Yet prices are up compared to 12 months ago, but not nearly as high compared to 2021 and early 22, where we saw price gains over 10%. Now we're up by 2% compared to August of 24. Back then, we're at 406,000 was the median sold price in the US, and now it's just less than 414,000. Let's have a look at their chart on Fred's website. Even though we're higher compared to last year, just barely, we've been kind of seeing this slow downward trajectory ever since really October of 2022. In 24 and 23, it was more or less flat. We had some dips in late 24, and now we're about 414,000. Having said that, looking at the surge in prices in 2020 and 21, the levels right now are way higher compared to 2019. Back then, we were only at 327,000. Now we're at $414,000. So if you guys are looking to buy a house, it's good news to see that prices have been coming down from the peak of 2022. But of course, it pales in comparison compared to 2018 through 2019. Having said that, again, I'm seeing all these incentives being offered by home builders. Free solar, a $10,000 closing cost credit, a 5% 30-year fixed mortgage rate. The list goes on. If you want to get a good deal on buying a brand new house, go find a completed one, because builders are throwing all these incentives at home buyers to try to drive home sales. And that is this right here. Here's the number of houses for sale nationwide that are completed. In other words, the builder has already spent all the costs on building a home, and all they need is a buyer to buy it and move in. So builders are very incentivized to sell completed houses compared to a dirt lot in which their sunk costs are very, very little compared to a house that's already completed, right? So look at this. There's 124,000 completed houses for sale nationwide, which is basically quadruple that of the all-time record low that was set back in February of 2022. So the number of houses completed has absolutely been exploding. And if we look back to, 1999, at 124,000, this is the highest level since July of 2009. With that said, if you guys want a real estate agent referral, check out my new revamped website, realestateteamfinder.com. I'd happy to connect you with a great real estate agent in your neck of the woods. But of course, if you are looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Sacramento area, we also cover the East Bay in the San Francisco Bay Area as well, then please reach out to me as well. I'll provide my information or my contact information below, which is jason@meetjasonwalter.com. With that said, hope you guys have an amazing day. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.